Hello guys, welcome to a new video. This is gonna be sort of a blog and it's gonna be a new style of video. Maybe a little bit unique a little bit different than the ones we used to have. But here with me we have my brother as well. And today is gonna be something, even the topic itself is gonna be different. Yeah, let's go. Now we have come to a very special place. Yep. Ali Rasgafan Shaheed Dagat. The martyrdom of King Ali. Right here, Ali Rasgafan. Now, I think some of you might have already guessed, or most of you might have already guessed where I am, because right here is the grave of Shaheed Ali Rasgafan. Now, Ali Rasgafan, he represents a part of the Maldivian nation which is not mostly known among, the common people. And people, this is even they think they do not know this and they think they are very separate from it. But the concept of a nation is that there are three elements to it. The state, yes, its sovereignty, like the state itself, its sovereignty and its equality and its independence. These are the most simple fundamental pillars of a nation. Now, this idea of a nation is quite new actually, because during the olden times there used to be empires, city-states and feudal, areas which are controlled, feudal states. Now, the Maldives, this really came into being during the 19th and 18th century because of the American and French revolutions, the industrial revolutions. I will not go into too much detail. And plus the printing capitalism, the printing capitalism thing. And all of this contributed to there being nations, meaning a people of a certain identity, So that's what I'm saying. The modern definition of a nation is very, very new. And as you can see here, the defeat of this man is a representation of the defeat of the most fundamental part of a nation, the state itself. The moment Ali Rasgafan became a martyr, that's when the Portuguese took control of the entire nation, the entire sovereign nation of the Maldives, which had existed until then for quite some time, because we have been a nation that has been trading with the Europeans, with the Indians and with the Middle Easterners for quite some time, even before they arrived. And as you can see, we are quite an ancient nation by some historian standards. Now, when we talk about this, we must also understand the Portuguese. If you want to understand the concept of a nation, why it is important to remember this, we should also understand the incident that happened, or the sort of specific, how do I say this? We must also understand the scenes of that day. We must understand how our sovereignty fell. This place right here, where Ali Rasgafan is buried, is the during the Portuguese invasion. Yes, and we must understand the Portuguese invaded quite a lot of time, at least 3 times during that period, and during one of those, the Maldives fell. Now, the concept of a nation, as I've already explained, depends on 3 things, the sovereignty of a state, the independence, and the equality. Now, when we understand these 3 things, the state has fallen when the head of the state has fallen. Because during that time, a nation meant that a nation was actually defined by the head of the state. He was the whole representation of the state itself, unlike because he was the state basically. His word was low. So this is how it worked during the olden times, during the ancient times, when this happened, when we lost our independence. Now, when we look at these incidents, we can see that there are three invasions of the Portuguese to the Maldives. Yeah, so the first one was in 1552, and during this time, there was no Bodutha Kurfan, yeah, there was Ali Ras Ghafan and Abu Bakr Ras Ghafan, and they had their own internal conflicts. But what happened was, during 1552, there was a small invasion, and Abu Bakr Ras Ghafan and Ali Ras Ghafan, they both sort of demolished the entire fleet. They killed and massacred the entire fleet. And during this attack, in 1552 and 1553, they also attacked again because they want retribution. But even though they were defeated, Abu Bakr Ras Ghafan was killed, yeah, and he was murdered. But in 1558, they came for the last time, and then this happened. And this reign lasted for 15 years, and there were internal conflicts in the Maldives, and there were different things that happened, which I will not go into detail because it will also become too political. But this was his death, and everything else that followed became the failure of state, which was the first stage of the entire destruction or the entire dissemination of Maldivian independence or our nationality during that time. So that is Ali Ras Ghafan. Now, Ali Ras Ghafan came from a very, very prestigious family. His family had been ruling for quite some time, and as you will see later in this video, that will soon change after Bodutha Kurfan comes into power. But again, as I have showed you guys can pause the video to read this maybe if you can, but these are the memorials and the stories of King Ali Ras Ghafan right here. He died he was murdered in 1558. The army was under the command of Captain Manuel da Silveira de Araújo. The Portuguese fired cannons from outside Males harbour, and we all know the very popular story of how Ali Ras Ghafan was murdered. But there's also another side to this, yes? Now, the thing is, the people who prompted, as I've said, I think I actually have to go into detail, the people who prompted this invasion into the Maldives was actually a Maldivian king himself. I think his name was King Hassan the Ninth. I'm not sure actually, maybe he was the ninth. Make sure to tell me in the comments. So King Hassan the Ninth, I knew he was a Hassan, he sort of left the country, left the religion. He did not sort of leave the religion, he left the religion entirely, and he became a Christian, and he settled in Goa in India. We all know Goa, right? So he actually, after he became a Christian, he sort of pushed the Portuguese people who were occupying Goa, prompted them. He sort of caused them into attacking Maldives. He was actively pushing. So the invasion itself is also a product of Maldivian politics. Yeah. So as you can see, most of the attacks that we have here currently, even now, in internal and external, usually because of Maldivian. There is some sort of Maldivian influence over that. So as you can see, and I have already told you, this is the end result. Ali Ras Ghafan being murdered, Abu Bakr Ras Ghafan also being murdered, and what can I say? That was, as I said, the first stage of failure of the Maldivian nation during that time, the failure of state. So I'm sure that's clear and simple. Now let's move on to the next part. I'm quite excited to show you this one. So see you again, and we'll be taking a very, very short walk. Maybe I'll show you a montage. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. You take a water bottle. And guys, before we reach the Dharmavantamiski, yeah, we are going to Dharmavantamiski. That's the second place we are going to. We had to do a rendezvous to Masjid Muhammad Takrufan al-Azam, the most iconic landmark in the Maldives. This is where the Islamic Center is, where the Ministry of Islamic Affairs is, where the Maldives Zakat House is, the National Council for Mosques and Islamic Waqf Fund. This is where all the things are, right here. The bottom floor, the last floor or the ground floor is used for these administrative purposes of these organizations which I have just mentioned, and the upper parts, the upper floors are used for prayer. And by the way, if you guys don't know, I'm a Zuan Khatib, meaning that I get invited to some of the events they have here. And currently I do not know what this is, but there is INZAC 2025. I think that's a new thing they have, maybe a new project they're starting. Military jeep. They're putting the flags. I think this is going to be a very nice thing to see. I think they're bringing the flags. Maybe not. I don't know. No, I think they just came to pick up. They were just painting somewhere some time ago. Yeah. Oh, wait. I think they have. Do they have it? No, they don't. I guess they don't. Too bad. So, we are still on route to Dharmavantamiski. Actually, when I am talking about Dharmavantamiski, the name itself, Dharmavantaraskifan, it was a title given to the first Muslim Sultan of the Maldives. Dharmavanta means a sort of, how do I say this, kindness, humbleness, I guess. I do not know the exact meaning. I'm not Adib. So, I believe it has something to do with benevolence, yeah? Benevolent king, Dharmavantaraskifan. And I do not think that's a Divehi word as well. So, comment if you guys know what that means. Plus, the name itself, Dharmavantaraskifan, I have researched quite a bit about it. I don't think I have heard any other name given to it through the course of history. And during the 2001 to 2003 expedition by Indian researchers from Lucknow and from the Ministry of India, which has things to do about heritage and all, according to them, the mosque itself is one of the earliest mosques in the Mal area, perhaps in Maldives, because it is said to be one of the first 28 mosques in the Maldives, and currently we are reaching the mosque. Wow. Looks old. Still, as you can see, it sort of has the same style as the Bureau's Kamanamiski, which is a good sign. It even says Dharmavantaraskifan. Yeah. It's not Dharmavantamiski only. The full title is Dharmavantaraskifan, which gives us a clue to how old this place is. I guess this is not old. This is, I'm sure, quite a new installation. New, I mean like 30-40 years. Yeah, there's the well. Let's see if I can open the well. Yeah, it's empty. I guess we can't drink from it. But here we are. One of the first mosques in the Maldives. Now, why is Dharmavantamiski important? I guess I'm developing a habit to opening mosque doors now. Let's open one nicely, neatly. The hinges seem to be metal, the modern kind. Yeah, so why did I bring you guys here? Now, Dharmavantamiski, it was renovated. These hinges you see, let me put on my flash again. These hinges and pillars, they were restored by fellow Indian heritage restorers. They had done quite a lot of work, and these pillars, there are 15 pillars, and each of these 15 pillars and the supports on the ceiling were actually eaten fully by termites and other bugs. So it was completely in ruins. And for the most part, they advised us not to put electrical wiring like this. I guess they haven't fixed the electrical wiring because I don't think they have a choice. And what they did is they took out some of these pillars and they sort of cleaned out the inside. They put a maida and some putty paste in so it will be strong enough. And by the way, you see, this itself actually has a, what do you say, sort of projection to the top. The pillar itself has an extension within the pillar itself, so it actually goes in towards the ceiling. Now the ceiling itself, God, now that's a masterpiece, isn't it? MashaAllah. Now that's a masterpiece. The thing was before, it was not as vivid before it was restored, these colored supports, because during the olden times they used to have oil lanterns or oil lamps, which used to put a sort of a residue, black residue, soot all across these writings. As you can see, there's Quranic writing all over here, and for the most part, it is very clean now. It's really, really clean, as you can see. These tiny parts of the ceiling itself were all handmade during that time, and the Indian research paper reports that there are no no other intrusions such as nails or any sort of joining liquid like any type of glue used. So it is a complete masterpiece of its time and of this time as well, because it is one of the best heritages we have left, and people really do not come here. Normally people bring the tourists also to Hukurmiski because, yeah, compared to this place, I guess it is more flashy, but this is where it all lies. The representation of the religious aspect of the Maldivian nation. Because us Maldivians have been Muslims for 800 years. For 800 years. And during those 800 years, we were independent for the most part. And those independence, during those, and still we are independent, but there was only one break in between. That was the 15 years of the Portuguese rule. During the Malabar rule, there was like 4 months, and I guess there was no other people who actually controlled how we lived our lives, how we governed our own state. This place is important because it has survived. Because there were lots and lots of attacks on mosques, lots of burnings on mosques. Because during the 15, as I told you, there were 3 different invasions in the Maldives. During the second invasion, as they were being defeated, they burnt a mosque in Willingili during the Bodul Kafal time. So, the reason why I came here is so that we'll be reminded of why we should protect our religious aspect of our culture. Because religion is what makes us Maldivians. Religion itself is the glue that sticks this community, that holds this community together. The reason why we have good hospitality, the reason why we have good manners, and why we are proud of our good mannerisms and our other heritage that involve our traditions, our word tradition, all of this has some aspect of religion in it. I mean, I'm not saying that we should not, sing songs and all, but we should also be aware of what is left of our heritage that is about our nationality. So, Dharmantamiski, that's what I gotta say. The last mosque, one of the last mosques that we have that are totally about Maldivian heritage in in an Islamic aspect. One of the last mosques in Maldives that are actually talking, that's actually showing us about the olden days, the initial days where we just embraced Islam. And even so, they had spared no expense in building this place. Even the initial days, this is so beautiful. As you can see, the work, the lacquer work and the woodwork, it's all so seamless and interconnected to each other. It's like a puzzle piece. I would actually tell you guys to visit this place because I cannot express how beautiful this place is. Even the walls may be somewhat mediocre because it's old, but oh my god, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So, since we have visited this place, why don't we go to the other part of our video? We'll be leaving this mosque to go to another mosque. I'm not going to spoil for you which place we are going to, but it's equally as important as this place. Maybe even more in terms of nationality. But as I said, if you guys can, make sure to visit this place because, and I also forgot to mention, this place has 5, I think, total domes, with one central dome and 4 other domes in each corner, 15 different pillars. I have already mentioned that. And this was restored in, I think, 2003 or 2001 during that period by Indian restorers. And they also mentioned the fact that these sliding doors, they used to be sliding doors, but they do not have any sliding doors anymore because this type of frame around a door usually means sliding doors. I don't think you guys can see the actual picture, but as you can see, that curvature and all, it actually means there used to be a sliding door. Maybe it broke, maybe they couldn't replace it, maybe they didn't have the budget for it, but oh yes, look at that. Look at that lacquer work. Good God. Yeah. Anyhow, as I said, then we'll be leaving to another much more important landmark and it will be a very nice surprise. So let's keep on walking. So in relation to the last part of this video, what we're going to do is we're going to ask questions about that certain aspect. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid saying it, so it's a surprise for you guys. So what I want you to do is I want you guys to comment what you think the last part is going to be about, where we are going. So let's get into it. Okay. Kokko ka nama ki ko baat?
Nazil.
Ki kata? Nazil do. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Me tibe fula ka nama ki ko baat?
Muhammad Shafiq.
That's me algona bay 3 sawal ekko lenga da war fase hawan meten so
Muhammad Alwan. Okay. Em Alwan na 3 sawal kollam miyoti den e sawal ka jawab dewarun e ice cream ke bodu me sanan de hadiya libena do em sawal ka jawab diya war kuda ice cream e devana vijja medium size then tineccha vijjamu normal size magnum. Okay da? Yeah, sure. So the first sawal em furtama sawal gaumi duha ki koba hai. नाज़िल मैं 3 सवाल का जवाब देंगे. फुरतम सवाल की गाँव में दुआ की कोबा.
जुलाई 26.
फुरतम सवाल की गाँव में दुआ की कोबा है.
गाँव में दुआ की राज्य मिनिमम में दुआ.
गाँव में डेट तो
No. What is गाँव में दुआ? Why is it celebrated?
Oh no, गाँव में तो
नहीं दो. Okay, फुरतम सवाल कंडा है. जुलाई 26 की कौन दुआ है? मिनिमम दुआस. गाँव में दुआ की कौन दुआ है? मादमा. देवती देवना सवाल. राज हिसोर कुरी कोंबाई.
Me gami dos fankurani kiwaso kombe hisor kogge. Who captured us?
Portuguese.
Correct. Eswa rangal.
Oh, Portuguese.
Correct. That's the second swal.
පෝර්චුගීසුන්ගේ අතුන්
දෙහ ජම්මි දෙස්වාල එදොයවි. දෙන් ඔති තිම්මන ස්වාල්. පෝචුගීසුන්ගේ අතුන් අම්ම සෑමකොද්දිනී බොඩතකුරුෆාන්ද බොඩතකුරුෆාන්න බොඩතකුරුෆාන් කොන්තනෙක්ග බාය මෙොතී ෆස්දාන් ලේෆ මීනිින් වේසි බරිඩ් මාලයගත නොත උතීමුගත
Último.
රස්කවාන් වීගොතගේ රාපද ඉප්පවා රාවරිය රාපද ඉප්පවම්වගෙන්
නො බොඩතකුරුෆාන් බොඩතකුරුෆාන්
අද බොර්තුපාන මේ අවාර හොති මාලයක
මාලය කරෙක් දෙන් ඔති මේ බොඩතකුරුෆාන් ෆස්දානු ලේෆෝති කොන් රශෙක් ගෙහිය මාලේග හෙයේ නොවත උතීමුග හෙයේ
උතියමු.
ඉන්කරෙක්ට් මාලේග බිහුරෝස් කමන මිස්කෙතුග බර කුඩකුඩ මිස්කිතෙන්ගේ දෙන් බෝනස්වාල දෙන් ඒ කොම්මේ රංගලුවෙස් නුවසේ අගුමනකද මෙ තින්ස්වා රංගලු ජාබ ජේ ජෙහිම අයිස්ක්‍රීම ලිබෙන එකම් බෝනස්වාල දෙන් ඉංගේතෝ නේගේතෝ බලාලම් වෙගෙන් ඒ කොම්මේ මුහිම්ම එවිස්වාලනෝ කොන් මිස්කිතෙක්ගේ බාවය මෙොතී බොටතුකුෆාන් බොල්ලේෆා
බොර්තක්පාන පස්ථාන ලේපවනි
ෆස්සිකොන්ත් Fahe. Bihuros kamana miskutu. The Bihuros kamana miskutu. Warabboda marhaba inga. He's buried there and he's the only person buried there. Yeah. Ne asu mitanatta mitanukuta verikam ves kori utimu verikam ves dynasty I ves bodatukurfan ay fahunta e kuringoti abubakshfana ali rasgefanu ge verikam e ves itru wahake. If you watch our video after we upload you will know. No ba maale got eswarang the kommes chili ba kuda ice cream okay da okay kuda ice cream okay so you get a very tiny ice cream eswar okay da thank you bro. I hope you guys understood something from the interviews. Maybe you got a clue. But next stop is the last stop we'll be having. And I'm sure it will be worth it. So now we are reaching the end point of our video and the most important part of our video as well. Yeah. I know the excitement is killing you and me also since I'm walking the entire length. Not complaining, of course. I don't complain about this. We're almost there. Around 10 steps, not much. And here we are. Bihuros Kamana Miski. I remember when I used to come here when I was in grade 3. I guess it has been expanded now. I think in 2017 during Rice Yamin's tenure. As you can see that gate right there. I think you can see it. Let me zoom in. From that gate onwards, that was the only boundary. They have added this outer courtyard part right here. This area was not there before. Yes. And of course the inside I think it's locked. Yeah, it is locked. Oh yeah, not that locked I guess. I think I'm doing something illegal but still. Yeah, it's not illegal but still. This is the Bihuros Kamana Miski. Now, I'm not here to give you a show of the Miski itself or the mosque itself. Come out, Mashal, come out. What I am here for is something way more important. By the way, before this place was called Bihuros Kalo Miski, I don't know why the change was made to Kamana. Maybe a feminine name was much more appealing to the government people, but still, this place itself, I'm bringing my slippers right here. Yeah, this separate compound is what I'm trying to show you right here.
Yes. This world of compound, this used to be somewhere you could visit during the olden times. But right here, this place is where. I guess you can't see it. Mashal, may I have your flashlight? Yes, thank you. Oof. Good God. This is where Baduta Kurfan is buried. I guess the light is not doing you much favors, but I think you can see that something is written on here, but I'll read it for you. Yeah, even I can't read it. It has been worn out so much. Mitaga Fasdan Levfa Vani Asultan Lazi Muhammad Takurfan Azam. I think that is what it says because that is what we say all the time. And it is written in Divehi, Arabic, and Latin script. Now, right here, this place, from this door, you will enter the compounds where he is buried. But this is the outer wall that is surrounding the area. As you can see right here. This is the outer wall, as I said. Then there's the inner wall, in which there is the tomb where he is buried. Most people don't know this. This is like in the middle of Male, near Iskandar School, near Elora Pan home. The artwork you see here, I believe it's from the Maumun Tenua, Maumun Abdul Qayyum Tenua, because it's really similar. I really can't tell that much because it's dark out and there's no Imam around to help me. But this is the last part, the most surprising part, because most people do not know. Yeah, flashlight. Most people do not know that Muhammad Takurfan is buried in Male, much less in the midst of a prayer every single day. Literally, he is right here. He's buried right here, and people pray here all the time in this mosque. I do not think Friday prayers are being done here, but still people pray here 5 times a day. No Friday prayers, Friday prayers excluded. A short place indeed. And this is what I can tell you. The fact that people do not know this place exists is a tragedy, because every single day, basically, if there's any reason that for us to talk about Maldivian history, Maldivian independence, Maldivianness, like the nationality itself is based upon our freedom from the Portuguese. The longest amount of time that they have captured us, like the people who have captured us for the longest amount of time are the Portuguese for 15 years. Nobody else has that record. And we don't know where the person who saved us from this is buried at, which is quite embarrassing, really. So this is the last part, the last surprise I have for you, because all this talking I have done, this is the end result. Because no matter what, I mean, whatever we have lost during that time, the fact that we have it right now, or some resemblance of what we had before, if we had gotten any of it back, it's because of Muhammad Takurfan and his batalum. From his famous ship Kalufumi, they came, they took back Maldives. It's a very epic story. So Muhammad Takurfan, after 1558, after 15 years of people begging, people being killed, places being burnt, people getting alcohol literally, forced down their throats. We have quite a lot of Portuguese influence in Maldives, such as in the food bokiba, which comes from a Portuguese food. Yeah, bokiba is a staple short eat in the Maldives. So as I'm saying, the Portuguese influence had quite an effect in the Maldives, and the person who saved us from it is Muhammad Takurfan. And there are many stories about who was the person who was who had conquered us and who was the leader at the time. Like his name was Andreas. People say that he was black, which I do not know if it's true or not. Maybe, but his name was Andreas, as in the records. And this Andri guy, he was killed by Muhammad Takurfan. There's this story where he sort of used a coconut palm tree and his rifle. And my grandfather used to tell me that I do not know if this is true or not, that Andri Andring had this skill where he could hear where the gunshot came from and shoot right back at the exact direction where it was shot at. So Borta Kurfan, he used some sort of maneuver and finally killed the guy. So like, this is an epic story, really. This is what is being talked about every single national day in the Maldives, every single time. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that the fact that we do not know where the guy is buried is really embarrassing. And now you guys know. So make sure to tell your friends as well and your family. It's at Bihuro's Kamanamiski, formerly known as Bihuro's Kalomiski. I think so, because there has been records of that. I think the name was longer as well. So remembering the aspects of Maldivian nationality, as we have just done, we went to Ali Raslifan's burial place, and we have gone to Dharmawantamiski, which is one of the first places of worship, the first masjid in the Maldives, one of the first masjids in the Maldives. We talked about the technicalities, we talked about who fixed that place up, the Indians, and at last we came here. So guys, make sure to stay tuned for future vlogs. Maybe if you guys like this enough, we will do the same type of videos. So stay tuned, stay safe, and have a great day. Salam alaikum.
So guys, as you can see, younger brother Mashal, he wanted to be part of the video, and he's right, because he has been with me the entire journey. So I'm gonna ask him a couple of questions, the same things I asked him, maybe a little bit more if I can, that is. I'm really tired. So Mashal,
Yeah.
Gaumi duha ki koba?
Kaumi doha ki
Ehuri ha emmen ki chadu hi miya nengune.
I don't know.
The Portuguese unga addasun Raj Samek kodini kom batale.
Ali Rasgifan.
Ali Rasgefano. Me ko jay sume ice cream and oli bene, kai chen oli bene, empuli and oli bene. And then emme muhimuswa. Tibuna Ali Rasgefan fastan levoti kontanek gaiye.
Mahalega.
Malega. Malega engiye. Ekan kontane specific.
Cambulios.
Cambulo. Cambulo la hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Asone me Bihuro's Kamanamiski dekyan commissar ka rangalu ginami hunaka rangala bisnu. So Mashal me huriya rangalu iti sumelli bene. Thank you Mashal. ठीक है मिकमा बेग दूना
और तेरा
okay mashallah sume I guess we are ending the video for real. Subscribe, like the video, and make sure to share it as well, and spread the love of National Day and whatnot. Assalamu alaikum.
peace.
Yeah, peace, sure bro.